Welcome back to the Art of Climate Modeling. Today we'll be focusing on the Community Earth System Model, our exemplar model for this class, and one that exhibits many similarities to other models operating globally. CESM is a comprehensive, community-oriented Earth system model, incorporating submodels that quantify processes in the physical climate system, as well as submodels that represent some of the interactions between the human system and the climate system. CESM is based on the Community Climate System Model, or CCSM, which was originally released in 1996, and was in turn based on the Community Climate Model, or CCM, created by NCAR in 1983. However, some early resources for CESM still maintain the CCSM name. CESM was developed jointly by the National Science Foundation and the U.S. Department of Energy, with some support from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. This model is open-sourced and freely available online via a simple registration process. However, CESM does require some technical expertise and data files, which make executing the model away from the Cheyenne supercomputing system sometimes difficult. This diagram depicts the processes that are simulated by CESM in its fully coupled configuration. These processes include winds, snow and ice, ozone and atmospheric chemistry, clouds, precipitation and hydrology, solar and terrestrial radiation, air-sea exchanges, ocean currents, ocean temperatures and salinity, marine ecosystems, sea ice, soil moisture, land surface processes, and human-produced emissions. The unified CESM consists of 5 primary component modules, which are associated with the major components of the Earth system. The atmosphere is simulated by the Community Atmosphere Model, or CAM. The ocean is presently simulated using the Parallel Ocean Program, or POP, although CESM-3 is expected to transition to the Modular Ocean Module, or MOM. The land surface component uses the Community Land Model, or CLM. Land ice is handled via the CESM Ice Sheet Model, or CISM, while sea ice is handled via the Los Alamos Sea Ice Model, or Community Ice Code, CEICE. Additionally, CESM includes support for river runoff via the Model for Scale Adaptive River Transport, Mozart, and wave modeling via WaveWatch 3. The system is tied together via a central coupler module known as SEAM. The coupler ties these component modules together by managing communication between component models. Given that these component models have different ways of storing information, the coupler is analogous to a translator that moves data between modules. The coupler is thus responsible for managing fluxes that allow land, atmosphere, and ocean component modules to communicate with one another. Often this requires specialized algorithms for conservative remapping of state variables, such as moisture or energy fluxes, from one grid system to another grid system. When spread over multiple processors, these component modules might look like the configuration presented here. Generally, the ocean module tends to be the most computationally intensive, so sits on its own set of processors. The atmosphere then shares its processors with the sea ice, wave module, and land surface models. All of these component modules are managed via a lightweight central driver that synchronizes the model clock and organizes the parallel workload. Situating atmosphere and land on the same processors reduces some of the communication across processors needed during execution. Any model run is broken up into multiple time steps. Much like the spatial domain has been discretized by breaking it up into distinct spatial regions, the time dimension must also be broken up into discrete pieces of finite duration. Each time step thus advances the model clock by a specific amount. At 1 degree global grid spacing, CESM uses a default time step size of 30 minutes, or 1800 seconds. This time step is then subdivided into processes that operate on finer timescales through a process known as subcycling. Initially, ocean, land, and ice data are rearranged from the coupler to the processors handling each submodel. These submodels are then run. Ocean inputs are accumulated over time, and atmosphere-ocean fluxes are computed on the coupling processors. Land, ice, and atmospheric forcing data are then reorganized and sent to the atmosphere to provide lower boundary conditions. The atmosphere model is then run with this data. Output from the atmosphere and ocean are then rearranged and sent to the coupler, at which point the loop returns and the model is ready for another time step. As mentioned before, atmosphere, land, and ice are typically coupled at 30-minute intervals. This requires moving data and fluxes between land, ice, and atmosphere grids as needed. As of CESM2, ocean-atmosphere coupling is also performed at hourly intervals. though previously the ocean was coupled at a much lower frequency of once every 12 hours. This was typically not an issue, as the ocean evolves over relatively slow timescales. Fluxes, which correspond to the movement of moisture, energy, and other chemical species, are typically dribbled in over the course of the time step to ensure the model doesn't have to respond to frequent, sudden adjustments. CESM has evolved extensively since its humble beginnings. The climate system model, CSM1, was released in 1996 and incorporated the community climate model, CCM version 3, which had been under development since the early 80s. The atmospheric model used an Eulerian spectral transform dynamical core with a default horizontal grid spacing of 2.8 degrees. It used what is referred to as a triangular truncation grid, denoted T42, with 26 vertical model levels. It was coupled with the 2-degree NCOM ocean model. 6 years later, the Community Climate System Model, CCSM version 2, was released, which featured the CAM2 spectral transform dynamical core at T42 resolution, largely unchanged from its predecessor. The ocean component module was updated in this model to the parallel ocean program at 1-degree resolution using the Greenland pole grid, or tripole grid. This configuration allowed pole points, which tended to be problematic for numerical simulation, to be split and moved over land where they cause fewer problems. Version 3 of CCSM was released in 2004, now featuring a resolution upgrade to 1.4 degrees, global grid spacing in CAM3. POP was also updated into higher resolution, featuring a 0.3 to 1 degree ocean with 25 to 40 vertical levels. Version 4 of CCSM was a jumping point to CESM1, which featured the CAM4 finite volume atmospheric dynamical core and experimental spectral element dynamical core. POP again received a resolution upgrade to 1/8 degree. With the spectral element dynamical core now in CESM 1.1, support was added for the unstructured CubeSphere grid, which in turn provided greater support for massively parallel computing by improving parallelism of the code. This also allowed for support of variable resolution meshes, which enabled some exciting new science with the model. CAM was upgraded to version 5.2 with 30 vertical model levels. CESM2 was released in 2018 and featured functionality similar to CESM1, but with upgraded physical parameterizations. Version 2.1 of the model was introduced in early 2019 to be the model employed by NCAR for the Coupled Model Intercomparison Project, CMIP, Phase 6 simulations, still using the finite volume grid. However, CESM version 2.2 re-included scientific support for the spectral element dynamical core. As of the time of these lectures, version 2.2.0 is the most up-to-date version of CESM. As mentioned last time, all of these models use a process of discretization in order to reduce the continuous problem to a problem that is manageable on our computing systems. Discretization provides a dividing line between the scales of resolved and unresolved processes, namely those that are captured at the scale of individual grid boxes and those that occur below that scale. Resolved processes include planetary waves and large-scale transport. Unresolved processes include microphysics and turbulence, whose scales can extend down to only a few meters. Some processes, such as convection, may be either resolved or parameterized based on the grid spacing of the model. Because convection can occur on scales of a few kilometers, at grid spacings coarser than about 10 kilometers, convection is typically parameterized. However, at finer grid spacing, convection is typically handled at the resolved scale by the fluid equation solver. In CAM, there are switches in the model that allow this parameterization to be turned on or off. In the community atmosphere model, many different processes are parameterized, including those related to radiative transfer, precipitation, cloud formation, boundary layer and surface exchange, and dissipation of kinetic energy and momentum. The processes that are parameterized in a typical global atmospheric model such as CAM are shown on the right-hand side here. In the parallel ocean program, bulk transport is resolved, but mixing by ocean eddies and mixing across isopycnals is parameterized. The ocean model needs to capture tidal activity, fluxes of moisture and salt, and radiative heating at the top of the model. There are a number of unique challenges in ocean modeling that developers need to be aware of. For one, the Rossby radius of deformation, which determines the scale of eddies in the fluid, is much smaller in the ocean than for the atmosphere. This means that resolution of these processes requires finer grid spacing in the ocean than in the atmosphere. Second, ocean processes operate over much longer timescales when compared with atmospheric processes. For example, complete mixing of the ocean takes on the order of centuries, while the atmosphere only takes about a year. This can make it difficult to get an oceanic state throughout the column that is consistent with the atmospheric forcing spin-up, sometimes requiring thousands of years of simulation to get consistency. Third, ocean observations are sparse, which can make verification and validation more difficult. Generally, satellite observations can only measure a very thin surface layer, while deep observations come from a sparse network of buoys and is largely measured only in the top 750 meters of the ocean. Fourth, while interactions with the mixed layer are most relevant for short-term atmosphere-ocean coupling, on climatological timescales the whole ocean is needed, and as accumulated heat can be stored in the deep ocean. An active ocean model is needed to capture atmosphere-ocean heat exchanges properly. So-called AMIP-style simulations, which prescribe ocean temperatures, typically result in anomalously strong tropical cyclones because the ocean doesn't respond to the atmospheric forcing. Coupled models are also the only ones that can capture features such as the tropical cyclone cold wake, which occurs when very strong tropical cyclones pull energy from the ocean surface. Here we see one such cold wake in an ocean model following Hurricane Igor in 2010. The plot here shows the sea surface temperature anomaly of the ocean's surface, with Hurricane Igor's path clearly delineated. Finally, the community land model handles processes related to the land surface, including soil moisture, snow dynamics, surface albedo, dynamic vegetation, ecosystem dynamics, glaciers, land use, and runoff. Each of these may contribute to the calculation of atmosphere-land fluxes. At present, CLM does not include lateral exchanges, although models such as PARFLOW, which feature a complete 3D subsurface representation, have been coupled to CLM in the past. This means that the version of CLM that comes with CESM operates on a pointwise level with no lateral communication between grid cells. For instance, runoff from each grid cell effectively disappears once removed from the grid cell. CESM does not need to be executed as a fully coupled modeling system, but it supports many different configurations where only a subset of the system is run. This often requires prescribing a dataset to represent missing components, such as an ocean sea surface temperature dataset in lieu of an ocean model. There are many ways to define model hierarchies that enable a deeper understanding of the components of the modeling system. This diagram shows one such climate model evaluation hierarchy that links tests that have a theoretical or deterministic outcome to tests that are more so based on the statistical properties produced by that model. The most deterministic tests that still capture key physical processes of the atmosphere include shallow water and advection test cases, the former using a set of hydrodynamic equations that are substantially simplified, and the latter dealing with problems related to the movement of moisture and other tracer species. Because these tests primarily consider only 2D flows, the complexities related to atmospheric stratification are not included. However, one can add complexity by either including some sort of physical parameterization or by moving the model to 3D. Many dry dynamical core test cases are available, and many of those have been featured in the popular Dynamical Core Model Intercomparison Project test suite. After dry dynamical core test cases, we again increase complexity by adding simplified physical parameterizations, such as those related to microphysics, mixing, or radiation. Beyond this, modeling centers typically perform so-called Aquaplanet experiments, which simulate a standalone atmosphere with a prescribed lower boundary and no topography. When a land model is added, we get Atmospheric Model Intercomparison Project, or AMIP tests, which use prescribed sea surface temperatures. Beyond AMIP simulations, the next step is usually fully coupled model simulations. CESM supports the breadth of this model hierarchy. As of CESM 2, it supports built-in model configurations for a dry dynamical core, Aquaplanet, moist Baroclinic wave with Kessler microphysics, toy terminator chemistry, moist held Suarez, a single column, and radiative convective equilibrium test cases. In addition to these simpler models, there are also configurations in CESM for standalone land modeling and ocean modeling with data atmosphere. Let's take a quick look at some of these examples. The first example is the Baroclinic wave, which is a simplified model configuration used to understand how different models handle an initial state that is baroclinically unstable. This leads to the development of a planetary wave which grows with time, develops into extratropical cyclones, and, when moisture is present, to the development of atmospheric rivers. This test is useful for comparing differences in dynamical cores. We'll discuss other similar tests later in this series. Moving towards the more complicated end of the scale, we see Aquaplanet experiments, or APEs. Under the Aquaplanet configuration, all land cover is removed and ocean sea surface temperatures are fixed to be zonally symmetric. This configuration allows us to isolate the atmospheric component of the model while maintaining the realism that comes with the inclusion of physical parameterizations. Because of the inherent symmetries in this configuration, it's particularly useful for studying extreme weather events, convection, cloud parameterizations, and dynamics. This is because these symmetries enable a large statistical sample of these features. The APE configuration is depicted here. The land and ocean models are disabled and sea surface temperatures come from an analytic function. This means that only the atmosphere model is active, which can greatly speed up the time needed to run these simulations. The inclusion of the land model leads to the AMIP configuration, which keeps the ocean disabled but introduces the realistic land surface with an associated land model. Because AMIP models ensure that sea surface temperatures are close to reality, they tend to produce atmospheric climatologies that are more realistic. Analogous, fully coupled models tend to have greater errors, particularly over the oceans, where sea surface temperatures are subject to model biases. However, since the atmosphere cannot force the ocean in this configuration, as mentioned earlier, localized feedbacks may be absent that are important to the features being investigated. The AMIP configuration looks like this in CESM, again with an active atmosphere and land surface. Ocean and sea ice are taken from data to force the atmosphere in these locations. Alright, that wraps up our overview of the Community Earth System model. Next time, we'll be taking a deep dive into the atmospheric dynamical core, and we'll be talking about the different numerical methods that are used in modeling systems worldwide for solving the atmospheric fluid equations.